Let's go.
Hey everyone, I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video or go live. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about Sony's Spider-Man universe's newest movie coming out, Venom: The Last Dance. So, the first Venom movie came out back in 2018, and the movie had a budget of roughly around $100 million. The movie went on to gross over $800 million at the worldwide box office, a massive success for Sony. Later on, Sony announced that they were going to be doing a shared cinematic universe called Sony's Spider-Man universe, where it would be a shared cinematic universe based around Spider-Man's villains without Spider-Man. So then later on in 2021, we got the release of Venom: Let There Be Carnage. Then after that, we got the release of Morbius. Then after that, we got Madam Web earlier this year, back in 2024. And then later on this year, we are getting Venom: The Last Dance. And then to follow up to end the year, we are going to be getting Kraven the Hunter. Sony had also announced other movies to be coming out in this Sony's Spider-Man universe, but since we've heard nothing about them ever since their announcements, it's safe to assume that those movies are canceled and scrapped, because let's just be completely honest here. All of these movies are bad. I have seen Venom, the 2018 movie, I've seen Venom: Let There Be Carnage, and I've seen Morbius. These movies are just straight up dog shit. We also got Madam Web that came out earlier this year, and that movie massively bombed. The reason why these movies cannot function is because these movies are based around Spider-Man's villains without Spider-Man. This because Sony is just trying to basically put out a bunch of cash grab movies because they do not want to lose the rights to Spider-Man. They have to make a Spider-Man movie or a Spider-Man related property to extend themselves keeping the rights to the character. And keep in mind, Venom coming out in 2018 when it did was a huge benefactor because we were still in that superhero boom at that current moment in time. Keep in mind, when this movie dropped back in 2018, we had what? Black Panther, we had Avengers Infinity War, we also had Aquaman 2018. All those movies ended up grossing $1 billion at the worldwide box office. So Venom coming out was only just going to benefit itself being a part of that superhero zeitgeist that we were in. But then you really got to see who really enjoyed these movies later on when they started releasing more movies in this Sony's Spider-Man universe. These movies really aren't even like so bad they're good. I just think they're just dog shit. You know, the only good part in the 2018 Venom movie is the end part where Venom is like, "Eddie, we can do whatever we want." And then the Eminem Venom song plays. That's like the best part of the entire movie. You know, like, I believe the Venom movies could benefit from being rated R because they're definitely rated R adjacent, but they definitely have them to be PG-13 because they want to obviously get more theaters to obviously have the movies in, to make more money, to get more showings, obviously, right? But even we know that's not true because if a super movie is rated R, people will still show up for it even if it's rated R. So Venom already coming out as a solo property, not having any of the Spider-Man connections, was automatically a red flag to me. Anyone that doesn't really know like the comic book origins of the symbiote or Eddie Brock and Peter's relationship, you don't even have to know that. Just even if you watch like the animated series or just that comic storyline or even the Spider-Man the animated series when they did that is such a good storyline. The fact that they just disregarded all of that, just for a cash grab to put this movie out back in 2018 was nonsense. And the only reason why you got a shared cinematic universe for the Sony Spider-Man universe is because the first movie did very well. Every single movie after this one that came out has completely, utterly just broke even at the box office, which is just Venom Let There Be Carnage, or the other two, like Morbius and Madame Web, which have completely bombed. Morbius came out and bombed twice because Sony generally thought that all of the memes and jokes people made about Morbius, genuinely they thought, hey, there's enough here for this, we're going to re-release it, and it bombed twice. I think that might be the only movie in cinematic history that has actually bombed twice from its release. That's crazy. Now, do I like Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock? Not really. You know, I hope with Venom I hope with Venom The Last Dance, we actually get a third Venom movie. I heard the early reactions for it are actually pretty good compared to the other two, honestly. And I know the third movie is going to have Null in it. If you guys don't know, Null is the big bad villain for Donny Cates' Venom run in Marvel Comics for the King in Black event. I'm actually going to get that Venom book, that omnibus for Donny Cates run as Venom leading into that. And they did say that Null is going to be a bigger factor later on for, like, I guess the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because Sony's realized that they've completely just made a dog shit universe that no one actually cares about. And I'm going to be honest here, the only movies that are going to be ever making any money are the Venom movies. Venom is a character that can stand on his own without Spider-Man, even though they started this universe out without the Spider-Man connection, right? But the other characters, unless they're completely known to the point where you could ask like 10 random people if they actually know who this character is, don't make a movie. Like Madame Web, not enough people know her to make a movie. Morbius is kind of technically known, but not enough to make a movie. Okay, Kraven the Hunter, known, one of Spider-Man's top villains, but not enough there to make a movie, and we're seeing this constantly. Like, I'm just pointing out here, Kraven the Hunter is going to do bad. I'm just pointing out it right now. So, I just want to point to you guys this for box office reasons. And later on in the video, we're going to talk about Tom Hardy. Obviously, he's announced that he's done playing Venom after this third movie comes out. So, just look at this. Domestically, this movie took in $213 million domestically. It had a opening of $80 million, okay? So, worldwide. I'm pretty sure that's worldwide or domestic. Oh, no, this is domestic. So, it's obviously domestic for that $80 million. Sorry about that. So then, look at the international performance. $642 million internationally. That means even though this movie actually took in a massive load of money domestically, internationally carried this movie, okay? So then we go to Venom Let There Be Carnage. The budget for this one is $110 million. Now, the key differences with this one is this one was released in 2021 when we were still under that virus thing that I can't talk about on YouTube, right? So this movie came out around that time period where the last James Bond movie came out, No Time to Die. So it was definitely competing with that movie as well. And then later on in 2021, well, this movie was definitely going to get outshined because Spider-Man No Way Home was right around the corner, right? And they tried to do that whole, like, oh, Venom is going to be in No Way Home, which didn't end up happening, obviously. And this one's a little bit better than the first movie, but it's still not good at all, really, if you're being honest here, right? And look at the box office return for the second one. Even with the virus, right? $506 million, right? $506 million for this movie. So a $300 million drop compared to the first one to its sequel, right? Okay, so then we look at Venom Let There Be Carnage's box office domestically and internationally, okay? So the domestic opening for this movie is $10 million higher than the first movie, right? So then after that, domestically total, right, is $213 million, okay? And then after that, when you're looking at the international box office performance, the movie took in $293 million. If you simply just compare the amount of the international drop-off for this movie, that is staggering, right? Because domestically, between both movies, I've never seen this happen before. Domestically, both the first movie and the sequel have equal domestic amounts for how many people came out and supported, which is massive. Those are massive numbers domestically. I'm not, discrediting that. But if you look at this international drop-off between Venom 1 and Venom 2, that shows you right there the people that watched the first Venom movie, did not like it enough in a massive form to turn out again for Venom Let There Be Carnage. It's proven right there. Look at that. That is half the numbers right there. That's really bad. Okay, so now we get Venom The Last Dance. And I did a trailer reaction to Venom The Last Dance, and you know, even outside of Null, I don't know that much about Null because I've never read the Donny Cates run as Venom, because I told you guys this before. I do like Venom as a character, I do, but I've never been that much into Venom comic books, actually. I have a few Venom stuff, right? But never been a character I've been truly just like, I'm gonna read comic books around him. I kind of like the event stuff he's more in. I think it's more interesting, honestly, in my own personal opinion. But if you like the solo Venom stuff, good for you. And I might get some Venom stuff later on in my comic book life, right? So this movie's budget confirmed to be $120 million, right? So if we're looking at the international box office performance of this movie, if the international audience does not show up for Venom 3, it's going to be pretty bad, right? Because you see what carried the first movie, and then that drop off between that first movie and the second movie is massive there. Domestically, it's still there, but we've been, 3 years removed since the last one? Well, let's see if domestic and international sync up, right? So then we have the Hollywood Handle. They had a tweet right here, which reads, sorry about that, I'm going to make sure my webcam is a little bit more shorter. I try to match it up with the video sometimes, so that way you guys can see the whole text of the tweet. Venom The Last Dance is tracking to earn $70 million on its domestic opening weekend, right? But keep in mind what's just said there. Venom The Last Dance is tracking to earn $70 million on its domestic box office opening weekend, the lowest opening of the trilogy. It is shown with each release these movies are losing money. These are the top performing movies in this universe. Because the problem with this universe is that you have Spider-Man villains there without Spider-Man being good guys, okay? So whenever they do eventually face Spider-Man, how am I supposed to believe they're bad guys when I saw them be good guys in their movie? Like, Venom's been portrayed as a good guy in all of his movies so far. He's not been an anti-hero at all, okay? So we have the next Hollywood Handle tweet, which is Venom The Last Dance is tracking to earn $150 million on its worldwide box office opening weekend. The film had a budget of $120 million. So if this movie takes in $150 million worldwide, that's actually pretty good. I'm not even going to be like, hey, that's a flop. But we're going to have to see those second weekend numbers. If this movie takes in $150 million, because as you guys know, word of mouth is going to be what has to carry this movie to get it over the finish line. And I'm going to be honest here. I don't know if this movie was super profitable for Sony, Venom Let There Be Carnage, but we know the first one was. And we know the other two movies in this universe have not been. I mean, Madam Web. So let's go to look at it right now, because I know you guys want the information from me. Okay, so I'll point, let me just go to it right now, okay? Let's look at it, okay? So let's look at Morbius. Morbius we know bombed. And then we have Madam Web. I know they tried putting in, like, Across the Spider-Verse, but nah, they're not part of that. Okay, so Morbius's box office, $75 to $83 million budget, bomb. $167 million worldwide. Bomb. Complete, just like flop, right? Madam Web, about $80 to $100 million, let's say. $100 million box office worldwide. Flop. Complete, just flop. People don't like these movies. I'm sorry. I don't know why Sony keeps making them. Like, it's proven each release makes less money. Okay? I don't know if Sony's doing crack. I don't know if they're sniffing egg rolls up their asshole while sniffing heroin out another guy's butthole. I don't know, honestly. Why they keep making these movies blows my mind. I need a drink to wash away all this bullshit. Venom 3 targets franchise low $65 million opening weekend. Venom The Last Dance hopes to sink its teeth into at least $65 million in its box office debut. The third and final entry in the Tom Hardy-led anti-hero franchise is landing in 4,125 North American theaters on Friday. Those ticket sales would be far behind the prior two installments, 2018's Venom, which opened to 80 million, and 2021's Venom Let There Be Carnage, which opened to 90 million, setting a then pandemic era record. The comic book installment looking to get a lift from international audiences. Venom 3 is projected to add $85 million overseas for a global start of $150 million. The Last Dance cost $120 million to produce, not including worldwide marketing efforts. Yes, so I don't know what the marketing effort is on this movie. I could try looking it up because I know you guys like that shit. So let me try and look it up right now. Let's see what a projected number is for it. Venom The Last Dance. Let's do Venom 3. Okay, hold on. Venom The Last Dance. Sorry about that. Hold on, give me a sec. Venom The Last Dance. Marketing budget. Okay, let's see what it is. What's the marketing budget? No way. No way. That's not true. Is the marketing budget really $110 million? No way. No way. No way. Okay, so that's just... Okay, so we don't know the marketing costs yet. Okay, so I'd imagine, since this is a big blockbuster tentpole, if it cost $120 million to make, they're at least going to put about $60 million in it to market. Since theater owners get to keep roughly half of ticket sales, Venom 3 needs to stick around on the big screen beyond its debut to justify that price tag. Kelly Marcel, who wrote the first two films, directed the PG-13 threequel, which stars Hardy as investigative journalist Eddie Brock, his unwitting sidekick, and parasite Venom, both of whom are on the run from their worlds. Venom exists in the Sony universe of Marvel characters, therefore the otherworldly Lethal Protector doesn't interact with comic book characters from Disney's Marvel Cinematic Universe. He did, however, appear in the end credits of Sony's 2021 tentpole Spider-Man No Way Home. Venom, whose title character is an adversary of Spider-Man in Marvel Comics, has proven to be review-proof. Critics panned the first two films, with the original holding a 30% average on Rotten Tomatoes, and the second slightly improving with a 57%. Yet those negative sentiments did little to deter fans, who propelled Venom to $856 million worldwide, and Let There Be Carnage to $506 million worldwide. Notice how they don't go over how much of a actual drop that is. That is an insane, disgusting drop right there. Reviews for the third entry are under embargo. Venom The Last Dance will easily top the domestic box office and dethrone last weekend's champ Paramount's scary sequel Smile 2, which earned $23 million. Another new release, Ralph Fiennes-led thriller Conclave, is targeting $4 million to $6 million from 1,742 theaters between Friday and Sunday. Edward Berger, All Quiet on the Western Front, directed Conclave, a tense Vatican-set drama about the selection of the new pope, which comes with secrets that could shake the church's foundation. Stanley Tucci, John Lithgow, and Isabella Rossellini round out the cast. Focus features acquired domestic rights to the PG film, which has solid reviews. So, looking at Venom 3 right now, it's gonna end up beating those movies, right? But for big blockbuster tentpoles like these, it really just goes for that second weekend, like with Joker 2. I'm gonna have a video about Joker 2's box office disaster after this one comes out, but this movie needs about $150 million opening weekend to be considered a success opening weekend. But if it does not basically double its box office opening weekend in week 2, that's a massive flop. And then we have the final piece of information to go over, which was Tom Hardy talking about, his end to playing Venom. Tom Hardy has no regrets about how Venom 3 ends Eddie Brock's story. He says, "There's nothing left out." Tom Hardy teases the satisfying conclusion of Eddie Brock and his Marvel story with Venom The Last Dance. While time will tell what is in store for Sony's Spider-Man universe after 2024, the character who brought the franchise to life is finishing up his run with Venom The Last Dance, with Eddie and the symbiote going on a final adventure. Following the events of his cameo in Spider-Man No Way Home, the Venom threequel will pick up with Eddie back in his own universe before dealing with a new threat coming after him and the symbiote. I'm going to be completely honest here, guys. After everything I've read myself, They're not killing off Noel in this first movie. They'd already confirmed he's going to be around for other stuff. Maybe Sony is like, hey, Marvel, MCU, Kevin Feige, we got to collab because my shitty ass universe ain't working. But I can offer you some Spider-Man villains. That's the shit we're in these days. Screen Rant recently interviewed Hardy and Venom The Last Dance director Kelly Marcel about the third and final installment in the anti-hero franchise. When Hardy was asked if there was anything he regretted not having done during his time with Venom, or if everything he wanted to explore made it into Venom The Last Dance, the actor shared that he has no regrets about how he is concluding his journey with the Marvel icon, sharing the following. Tom Hardy, everything in the kitchen sink that we wanted to give time allocated is in the movie. This is the purest version of Kelly and I together, like giving and offering a harvest of optionality within the wheelhouse of a character and the aperture that we choose to come through in the tone we choose to set and to build on. We're encouraging ourselves to continue down that pathway because you can always tone something down. But it's very hard to come in big and show, okay, let's take some risk here. It's easier to say, let's do less of that. That it is to say, can you bring it up? In that aspect, and everything you see in The Last Dance is from Kelly's imagination and mine too, but there's nothing left out. It's surgically chosen and delivered like right down to the shots. It's a full reflection of the internal process of somebody who deeply cares about the work, and let me also stress that this is her first movie that she directed. And at this level, your first job, the first day, technically, symbiotically speaking, it's mind-blowing. So I'm really proud of you, to Kelly Marcel. Oh yeah, the first two movies, the first one was directed by Ruben Fleischer, and the second one was directed by Andy Serkis. Andy Serkis, he was obviously in he recently portrayed Alfred in the Batman, and he's also going to be voicing Noel in this movie. I'll be honest, I don't know why they chose to get her after the second one reviewed a little bit better with critics, but I guess. Since the first film was released in 2018, Venom has been the most popular character in Sony's Spider-Man universe and the only player to be financially beneficial to Sony Pictures. Despite being on a good track record, that's not really true. Hardy's comments about Venom The Last Dance story and its seemingly finale makes sense, especially given the creative role he has had within Eddie's story over the years. Something that can become very easy for major Hollywood studios is to have certain properties overstay their welcome, which in the end can hurt the overall story of said leading character. I mean, these movies have kind of overstayed their welcome after like number one. I mean, the second one was just more of the same bullshit, except we just had Carnage there, portrayed by Woody Allen or Woody Harris, or whatever the fuck his name is. However, Venom The Last Dance addresses Eddie's character arc. It sounds like Hardy is satisfied and happy with using this film as a proper ending point after having spent a whole trilogy developing Brock and his alien ally. This is what they're probably going to do. Happens in the Marvel comic events too with Venom. They're probably just going to give the symbiote to somebody else. Just pointing out, like, he might not get more movies, but he'll definitely be with somebody else. Even though there are more symbiote stories after Venom The Last Dance that may be explored, they can be with characters other than Eddie. Though, how this is approached also depends on whether or not Sony's Spider-Man universe is even moving forward in 2025 and beyond. Yeah, because there have been reports that they're just either going to reboot it or just stop it, which I would just say stop it because these movies are just fucking trash, honestly. While time will tell how the audience responds to whichever direction Venom The Last Dance goes, it is thrilling to know that Hardy has been able to get everything he wanted for the Venom story into this film before he seemingly concludes his time with the character. Whether or not Eddie will ever return to Sony's Spider-Man universe for the storylines related to new characters remains to be seen, but for now, the world can look forward to seeing the trilogy's finale in Venom The Last Dance. So, yeah, hey, I will say this. I don't really like these movies, but Tom Hardy looks like he really does enjoy portraying Eddie Brock, which does show in his interviews, but this Sony Spider-Man universe is just a complete fail if you're looking at it from a longer term angle. Like, the fact that we're even hearing rumors that they're going to be completely just basically rebooting it, because rebooting it also implies you had something there, because that's another thing too, is reports were like, well, we're just going to reboot the movie. universe that we have. Sony, you have nothing here. Like, tell me, what do you have here in this universe? Oh, wait, there's nothing here. They literally have nothing here worth rebooting. It's all bad. Like, I've never seen a universe where nothing's redeemable at all. Yeah, they had like some casting choices here and there that were kind of cool. You know, maybe some action scenes here and there, some music choices, but overall, this is a failed universe. It started out wrong with just releasing a solo Venom movie with no Spider-Man tie-ins, and we're at this point now where it could just be done by the end of this year when Kraven the Hunter comes out. So, yeah, I will also be watching Venom The Last Dance at my movie theater on my next day off, because as you guys know, at the time of me recording this video, I have to work 6 days this week, so I'll have no energy or time to get to the movie theater. But I will make time to watch this movie at my movie theater on my next day off, which is on a Tuesday. So yeah, you guys can expect that, and expect more content to be dropping. I know you guys like these videos, and I'm going to be working diligently on when news drops, I do the video, you guys have your video. So thank you guys for checking out this video. If you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoy it, and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video or go live. I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, and I will see you guys later. See you guys later. Deuces. Peace.